In today's video, we're going to show you how to manage two mortgages, a $39,000 car loan.
And put away at least $1 million for retirement.
Watch this. Thank you for tuning into our channel, DeCarola's Financial Solutions.
I'm Achilles.
And I'm Brenda.
And we're financial coaches.
In today's video, we're going to be covering a couple who have two mortgages. So you're probably wondering, what do you mean by two mortgages? Is it the same property? Is it two properties? It's actually two properties. They were living in a property before, and then they converted it into a rental and bought a new place for themselves, an upgraded place for themselves to live in.
Which is great, because a lot of people use real estate as investment properties, and that's a good way to create additional income by renting out the properties.
Yeah. And in their case, the rental income is covering all the costs of the mortgage and the cost of the property, and they also have a little bit of extra cash flow.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into their scenario. Their current monthly breakdown, their net monthly income, $125,000 a year combined salary, husband and wife. They're bringing in net $7,893. Their monthly rental income on the second property is $2,500 a month. Their monthly living expenses as it stands are $8,454. Their current monthly debt expenses are $630 a month. And this is just the car loan that they have, $39,000. It's a $630 monthly payment. They do not have any other consumer debts. And their monthly cash flow is starting at $1,309. And they've got savings of $80,000.
That's great.
It's a very good place to start. All right, so their list of monthly expenses. You got the two mortgages here. Property taxes combined for two properties, HOA fees, both properties, utilities, groceries, we put at $1,000. It can fluctuate. Some months it could be $800, some months it could be $900, but putting that buffer in place is good.
Yeah, and we've been getting comments like, who has expenses that are exactly the same every month? And the answer is nobody.
Nobody.
So these are examples of staying within a budget. And if you don't have a budget, then we can understand how you can object to having a scenario given to you that shows the same exact expenses every month. But if you have a budget and you can stay disciplined at keeping your budget, no matter if it's your utilities, your groceries, your eating out, your car insurance, that stuff stays the same.
Yeah.
Your cell phone might stay the same as well. Subscriptions might stay the same as well. Personal care, now that's going to skyrocket 1 week or 1 month, go down 1 month. The wives get their nails done. The kids do
Hair done.
The kids do sports. They start one camp, finish. Maybe you might not have them in sports for a season, and then they start another situation. So we understand that expenses go up and down.
Yeah.
It's just an example to show you how they're going to cover their expenses on a month-to-month basis and how to use this strategy to get out of debt.
Yeah. And also for unforeseen expenses sometimes that come at us. Let's say, what if you want to take a vacation? You don't want to stay on a strict budget for 10 plus years. And like in this case example, but you can say, okay, we're going to set aside $200 a month for a vacation fund. So we go away to a nice vacation once a year, or you put aside additional $200 to $250 a month for to cover repairs, so that you've got extra to dip into for those kinds of things that do come up. Life happens to us, so the unexpected expenses do come our way. But for all intents and purposes, when we're using the same expenses month by month on these velocity banking examples, it doesn't mean that it's going to stay that same. It's just for illustration purposes, so you can see how effective this method and strategy is to your finances to get debt free.
Yeah, you're going to see how fast the acceleration is to debt freedom. And so keep that in mind.
Okay. So let's discuss this car payment. So if we look at their current breakdown, they got their principal residence mortgage, the value of the property, they just bought it. So the value of the property is $505,000. The balance of their mortgage is $490,000. Monthly payments $26.27, $499 interest rate. 30 years amortization, and the total interest cost, if they continue just making their monthly payments, for the next 30 years, 465,000.
It's crazy, and the bank, society, culture says that this is normal. We're going to pay the house in interest twice.
Yeah.
That's normal. Just pay the bank for
I
the
know.
next 30 years.
They're literally buying this house twice just to
Yeah.
have this mortgage.
And so
literally.
let's renew your mind. Let's have a fresh mindset. Change the way you do banking. Make sure that you come out on top.
Yeah. The rental mortgage, they've had it for some time. So the value of the property is $600,000. They have $430,000 left on it. 1878 monthly payments. They had a better interest rate because it was during COVID at 2.75%. A 27-year amortization. Total interest cost $216,000 for 27 years. So you can tell just by having an interest rate 2% higher, like 2 and change higher, how your interest costs literally double. The HELOC they have on the rental, they have $50,000 based on their property's worth $600,000. The bank will give you up to 80% of that property value. $430,000 is the mortgage portion, so they did qualify for another $50,000 to have as a home equity line of credit. And the interest rate that they're getting there is 8.64%. Again, this rate might not stay static for the next 13 plus years. We have to use some sort of an interest rate to draw up the example.
Yeah, so it's going to be plus or minus dollars here and there. But the idea is to show you what the strategy is and how it works. There are some mathematicians, accountants, some brainiacs that leave messages at times saying, you're all wrong. According to 4.99 plus the 8.64 and your totals are off. Listen, you're right. You're not wrong. We're giving examples of what the strategy can do.
Yeah.
Obviously, the rate's not going to stay the same for a decade.
No.
And so, other than your mortgage.
The mortgage, yeah.
And so, chill, figure it out, try to understand.
Yeah.
We're not giving you exact numbers. It's about the strategy.
Yeah. And we do have a Canadian audience as well. So this is strictly for an American couple. They've got their 30-year fixed rate that's locked in unless they refinance in the middle. The car loan, $39,630 a month, 4.99%, 72 months left. So it's going to take them 6 years to pay off this car loan, and they'll be paying $6,200 in interest costs just to carry that through. We've devised an action plan. Step 1 is eliminate your consumer debt. So this car loan's got to go.
Yeah.
What's the point in paying these monthly payments? It's just hindering the potential of what you can do with your money moving forward. They have $80,000 of cash savings. Instead of doing a velocity banking pay down on this, just pay it out in full, own your car. You've got the funds for it.
And that's hard to do. Listen, we're just showing you what this can do. Are we telling you to take your $39,000 of cash savings and pay your car off? No. We're just giving you a scenario, you decide, and you make the decision. But in this case, watch what happens if they do take $39,000 and pay their car loan off. It obviously is going to free up $630. And then what can you do with that? So it depends on your goals. It all depends on you. We're just showing you another way, and you're making the decision.
Yeah. Just remember, these car loans, personal loans, they're designed to make the bank money.
Yeah.
And we are conditioned to believe that monthly payment programs is the way to do things. Since we were born, we've been taught this in school and everything. So this is a shift in thinking. It's a shift in mindset. And you will see at the end of the day how this does benefit the wallet book.
Yeah,
right
we're
here.
trying to get you to become the lender, not the borrower.
Exactly. And put you in a power position and not be the victim of the situation where the bank is always in a power position.
There used to be a commercial. I can't remember. It used to say hands in my pocket. Hands in my pocket. I think it was for Visa or something like that. But do you want all the banks to have their hands in
your pocket?
Right. Get those hands out of there.
Yeah, let's put your hand back in your pocket.
Yeah.
All right. So step 2 of the plan, start investing part of the paycheck. So it is wise. Once you're consumer debt free and all you've got left is your mortgages, it is wise to take 10 to 15% of your paycheck and start putting it into an investment fund. honestly, this couple is in 46, 47 years old. Retirement's going to come creeping around the corner
Comes
quite
fast.
quickly. And right now they've got $80,000 in savings. And they might have some retirement savings as well, and that's great. But we need, statistically, they're saying that we need more than $1 million to comfortably retire,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so you want to start putting yourself on the plan to start investing and putting money towards that bucket while you're then on the track to paying down your mortgage. Okay. So the 41,000 that's left from using the 80,000 to pay off the 39,000 car loan, they're left with $41,000 of cash. They put this into an investment fund. And this in itself can act as their emergency contingency fund. This can cover them for like a good 5-6 months, right? So contribute $1,000 monthly towards investment from their monthly income, net monthly income. Okay. And then step 3, start chunking down on the principal mortgage, which is the next thing that we're going to show you, using the HELOC on the rental, the $50,000 HELOC that they have, and take $20,000 from that and chunk it annually towards the principal mortgage on their home.
Yeah, and it's important that when you take $20,000 from the HELOC to put it towards your mortgage, it's very important that you tell the bank you want this applied to the principal amount, not just applied to the mortgage. If you just use general language, $20,000, and say, hi, I'd like to put this towards my mortgage to make it come down. If you're not specific, what they can do is they could take that $20,000 and put it and apply it towards your mortgage, but it will only accelerate the amortization portion. You've accelerated by $20,000 worth of payments.
Okay.
So you're paying principal and interest.
And interest with the
So you don't
20,000.
want them to do that. You want to specifically say, I want this $20,000 to go against the principal only and not interest. And that's very important.
Okay. Action plan. This is the new monthly breakdown now that we've kind of said, okay, we're setting aside this $1,000 a month in investments. So their car payment is gone. So their monthly living expenses are
reduced.
$8,454. But look at that. Their cash flow has been reduced to $939. And because that's why we're putting $1,000 into investment. But we don't want to disturb this because this is going to help them for their retirement. And we'll get to that. So using the HELOC to pay off the mortgage faster, just a quick recap, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. So they're going to be using the HELOC limit on the rental, $50,000, using $20,000 annual prepayments. And by doing this, they've accelerated paying down the mortgage on their home that they live in, not on the rental. And they've accelerated the amortization to be 13 years and 3 months from the original 30-year plan that they were on.
Wow.
And instead of paying $455,000 in interest, they're now paying $184,000 in interest over 13 years.
And it costs them to do it this way. It costs them $11,359 by utilizing a HELOC. So we do have to put that interest cost onto the $184,000.
Correct. And so you might be thinking, why would we take from an 8.64% interest rate?
We get that question all the
To
time.
pay off a 4.99% mortgage? This is why, right? Because the compounding of the interest is applied differently on an interest-only line of credit.
Yeah. So you do the math. The people that ask, why would you do that? Well, it's up to you. Do you want to pay $500,000
Yeah.
in interest, or do you want to pay,
Maybe 200,000.
maybe 200,000? So it's up to you.
Yeah.
I think the answer is
Pretty clear.
predictable.
All right. So quick breakdown income. This is including their rental income. Monthly expenses, $9,454, because that's also including the $1,000 investment deposits. Positive cash flow, $939. So we're starting with a $20,000 chunking to their principal mortgage. And we're going to start paying this down with the income deposit going in, the expenses coming out, the interest being applied, the new balance after month 1, $19,167. Month 2, month 3, same thing.
Notice how the interest goes down every month.
Yes, the interest is climbing down.
So this interest is the cost of borrowing using the HELOC.
Yes. And the interest gets applied based on the average daily held balance on that line of credit. So month 6, month 7, you can see month 7, they're down to 14,000. Month 8, month 9.
And again, remember the expenses, we're having them here as static, so they're not moving, but they do go up and down. And so it just means that your accounting, or when you're keeping track of this, it's going to be a little bit up, a little bit down. You might not eat as much out food or whatever kind of food you eat.
Or your groceries might not cost $1,000 a month.
Yeah. So keep that in mind that we're just using a static expenses amount, but it does change.
Yes. And since we're painting the picture of this over the course of 13 years, doing $20,000 chunking every year for 13 years, your income is most definitely going to go up.
Right. So nobody has the same income for this for a long period of time. Hopefully you get a promotion, you get a raise.
Yeah. And as you can see here in month 13, they've completely wiped out this debt. They only have to put an income deposit of $9,600 to clear out that $20,000 of borrowed HELOC debt.
So we gave you an example of what to do for 13 months. Okay, that's taking $20,000 from the HELOC, applying it towards the principal portion of the mortgage. So 13 months, you've paid off $20,000. You borrowed $20,000 from yourself, and you paid $20,000 towards your mortgage, which is yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if you repeat this 13 times, what happens?
You're putting $260,000 of chunking total towards that $490,000 mortgage. And you're making $20,000 annual prepayments, and you're using a velocity paydown method, you're accelerating the amortization to 13 years, 3 months, and this mortgage will be paid off. Let's look at the results here. The comparison of the original mortgage plan, on course for 30 years, paying out $455,000 in interest. The velocity paydown plan, $184 in interest on the mortgage. They'll be paid off in 13 years, 3 months if they stay on course. They're paying total $11,359 in interest on the $20,000 annual prepayments. That's total over the course of 13 years. That's not how much they're paying just in 1 year. That's over the course of the 13 years.
Wow.
Okay. And so their total results is $260,000 of interest savings.
Savings. $250,000 in savings. If you just simply change around where your finances go.
Yeah. Where you're putting your money.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all
Crazy.
it is.
Yeah.
And the results, investment strategy.
Okay, this is real quick.
Yes. Disclaimer, we're not financial advisors.
No.
Okay. But we've done our research and we have a lot of connections with financial advisors. And this is based on an average return of going with a particular type of investment. Okay. So they're starting with a $41,000 investment at age 47.
Yeah. So just so you know, what's the difference? What's the difference between a coach and an advisor or planner? So a financial advisor / financial planner deals with your money's behavior. A financial coach like us deals with your behavior with money.
Correct.
So we need to fix your behavior with money, what you do with it, how you think towards it, how you look to spend it, save it, invest it, whatever the case is, your behavior with money. Financial planner deals with your money's behavior. So you don't need a planner until you first are debt free.
Yeah.
You don't need a planner if you have no cash. So before trying to get a financial planner or financial advisor, they're going to deal with your money's behavior, but you first need a coach where you need to deal with your behavior with money.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Monthly contributions, like we said, $1,000 being allocated. That's 10 to 15% of their monthly net income. Plan to retire age 67. So we've got this plan in place for 20 years.
That's great.
So the annual return, we're calculating at a 10%. And this is based on a 30-year return of a fund. Okay?
Yeah, so if you look at the S&P for the past 30 years, historically, the S&P 500 has given you a return between 10 to 12%. And so that's historic.
Yeah. And this historical figure has been calculated up until the end of 2023. And we're just midway into 2024.
So it's safe to say if you continue to invest in the S&P 500, it's going to give you between 10 to 12%.
Yeah.
But we cannot see the future. Don't take our word for it.
No.
We're just going by what has happened in the past, which typically dictates what could happen in the future.
Correct. And you always want to double check with a financial advisor and a planner because, again, we're just financial coaches. But for all intents and purposes, we're just drafting this plan here so that you can understand if you put $1,000 a month, that you can have $1 million in 20 years by the time you retire.
You know, it's sad. We've heard from people who are in their 60s, whether their early 60s, late 60s, and they have no plan yet. There's nothing that they have that, and they're coming out of a place of desperation. And so if you're in your mid 40s, early 40s, late 30s, you should put this plan in place so that when you hit the 60s, you feel better, you feel confident, you feel safe, and feel at peace where others are not there. If you are there and you have no plan in place, we understand. We understand your pain. A lot of people are in the same place as you are, but there's hope. There's hope. There's a strategy. We could take a look at your numbers. We've seen different families in different cases. It's not that hard. There is a free booking consultation link that's in the description below.
We encourage you to book in with us and see how we might be able to help you get on track, get yourself into a power position so you can be in the driver's seat of your life and your finances. And what is it statistically? 90% of all of our worries and anxieties come from financial problems and issues, especially in marriages, in the family. You want to protect your marriage. You want to protect your family so that you can focus on what really matters. Does money matter? It's just a way to get us through life. It's not, it shouldn't be the main focus. And we have greed that is funneling our society, but we don't have to be active participants on that. We can say we're in the driver's seat and we're going to manage our finances the way that God intended for us to.
Yeah. And listen, it's nothing wrong with having a nice car, having a nice house, but let's have them fully owned, fully paid for. It's okay to have the car and the house and everything, all the toys, but don't let those cars and houses have you.
Yeah. Amen to that. All right. Also in the description below, you can find a link to download a free financial worksheet as well that you can find very helpful to manage your finances and break everything down so you can see what are you spending your money on every single month.
Yeah, it's going to help. It's a great tool. And if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel or if you're coming back, we hope that you like the video. Follow us for more content. It'll give you the content as we give it out. But if you haven't subscribed yet, our numbers show that 90% of viewers are not subscribed, but you keep coming back and watching the videos. So if you just do me a quick favor, just click the button right now. We'll give you a second of silence. All right, thank you. We're helping a lot of people, and it seems like YouTube is pushing our content, which is great. Obviously, there's value in what we're showing, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate your support. Your help would also be super appreciated. And if you found this video helpful, you might find this video helpful.
And this video helpful. Have a good one. God bless you. And if you didn't know,
now you know.